Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. It's time for SP's Codename Cutthroat podcast, streaming live from Leaders Radio Studios in Southern Illinois. Music, news, reactions, interviews, guests, culture, real unfiltered talk. With your host, Skylar Pendergast. SP's Codename Cutthroat podcast. Beginning now.
Good evening, good evening. Hello, everyone. Hopefully everybody can hear us. Last time I had problems with the sound, it didn't sound too good. Especially since I'm using new headphones. What's up, everybody? Maybe I should shut this door.
Maybe. Listen, I'm nervous, bro. I feel like I'm at like Hot 97 or something right now. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Usually when we're doing these shows, like, we used to run a podcast, and I feel like it was always like focused on other things. But whenever you're doing something like this, and it's like, you know, you're gonna be talking about yourself, it's a little nerve-wracking. So bear with me.
Yeah. That, of course, is the voice of Gavin Bryce. Gavin Bryce is a brother of mine, a friend of mine I've been making music with for how many years now? Shit, it's been like
About 4 years.
Yeah, about 4 years
Something
at least.
like that.
We hooked up around the Heartwork days.
It was like pretty much right after I started, like months after I started, not too long after. So
We're here to talk about him and his life and his music. The new album, Your Love Is a Drug, out now on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
I guess just to start with everything, tell the people about yourself and kind of a little bit of what you do.
Well, I'm just a alien who makes music, weird music, different kinds, and I just exist. I'm 20, I'm white, and that's me.
And that's me. How long have you been making music?
I started really 2018, and that's crazy, man. That's like 5 years. That is 5 years. So I started in July, technically. I posted a freestyle that I did over X's Jocelyn Flores. I got the instrumental, and I was just freestyling over it. and it was amazing. And I was like, man, I gotta post this. So I posted it in that July 2018, and then through that, man, I'm nervous, bro. Hot 97. But now through that, I was found by a team called Autopsy that was being ran by Miles Davis, who's my guy. So shout out to him, 4 Seasons. And he was like, hey, bro, heard your freestyle, and I want you to come through. And then I went to his crib. He was living with my guy Chapo at the time, and they were running this Autopsy thing. They wanted me to come through because they liked the freestyle. So I came through and recorded my first official single, Pain. And then from that, kind of built a little name, and we're still going 5 years later, almost.
Awesome. And coming from like Benton, Illinois and stuff, because I don't know, a lot of people might not know that you're actually from Benton, Illinois, and not even pretty much know what a Benton, Illinois is.
Right.
How would you describe the area pretty much? Like,
pretty empty, honestly, but
it really is.
there's something I really love about it, and I don't know if it's like the fact that it is so alienated.
It makes it kind of peaceful.
Right.
Like it's
right.
it's almost abandoned.
And you can like get places, you ain't got to sit in traffic for 25 minutes to get to Wendy's down the road. Like when I was living in St. Louis, bro, it took 25 minutes to get to Wendy's, and here if you're trying to get down the road, you just go. So
yeah,
that's something I like about it.
What was it like growing up around the people of Benton, Illinois, like in school? Were people supportive, or were they just like kind of mean? They were mean to me when I was in school.
Yeah.
I hated Benton school.
Yeah, I got bullied. No, I guess it just depended on the time, the year. Like, there were times where I straight up got bullied, and then there's times where I was the cool guy. I don't know. It's just different times in my life, I guess.
There was almost like an era switch.
Yeah.
It's what was trending at the time.
Right.
More or less.
Like, bro, I used to be, like, real big on, like, Beyblades and, like, Minecraft and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
I was a nerd, bro, so, I was outside the box, and then I went in the box, and people start to respect you once you go in that box, and, I didn't finish school. I dropped out in freshman year, but those last couple years, I kind of became the cool guy and was, like, just fighting people and just, I don't know. I was not the nerd anymore.
Just being wild.
Yeah.
So from Benton, Illinois, making music for the past 5 years, who would you say, like, was your first musical love?
Eminem.
Eminem.
I think when I was just a baby, like, obviously I was born in 2002, so the Eminem show came out, and you had Without Me and Cleaning Out My Closet and all those songs. And I just remember, like, always having that. I can't say that about any other kind of music or any artist, like, where I've had it since I got here on this planet up to now. Like, I can't necessarily say that about, like, the Kendricks and the Kanyes. Not that they weren't, important in my life, but they just weren't always there in my particular life. So I think the connection to Eminem was really the reason all this is happening, because, bro, I just was listening to that when I didn't even know how to speak words,
What'd you find first at Eminem? Was it a song or a freestyle that he did?
The earliest thing I remember was...
Them freestyles were everywhere.
Oh, yeah. But I remember hearing Mockingbird on the radio. I was like 4 at the time. And I knew, like, I was already exposed to the music because of my parents and everything else. So, like, quite literally, the moment I got to Earth, I was listening to Eminem. But the first time where it really caught my eye, I think I was like 4 years old. And I was like, what is this? Because Mockingbird was on the radio. And they just explained, oh, it's Eminem. And my mom, she married this guy, Rick, and his stepdad. This was like, I was like 4 or 5 years old. His son, I think I said his stepdad. I meant to say my stepdad. But his son, who was my stepbrother, he had all these tapes. And, like, he was showing me what Eminem looked like. I always knew the guy existed because he's Eminem. You hear his music on the radio just the 2000s. But, bro, I'm like, seeing his face. And the first video I saw, it was either The Real Slim Shady or My Name Is. I was like 5. I was like, bro, this is the coolest thing in the world. He looks like me, but it was like I had something to identify with.
Yeah. Like,
I don't mean that in a bad way at all. Like, it was like this.
I think it's a Midwestern thing.
Right. It was like
there's that Midwestern vibe.
I fell in love with the character of it, It was like a performance. I knew that this guy wasn't, like, literally spitting in people's onion rings and stuff, but it was such, like, a zany, like, it was just fun, man. And when you're a kid, you love that stuff. I still love it, even though I'm not, like, super crazy about it anymore. It's still a part of me, But bands like Korn, Slipknot, like, in the car, my mom would constantly be playing that stuff. I don't know you're real big on Slipknot, but
Yeah.
that was something that stuck with me too, because you couldn't be in the car without hearing Slipknot or Bush or Nirvana or Stained, stuff like that. Stone
It's really
Temple
big on the
Pilots.
radio. They would play it all the time. And,
Right.
You know.
And the thing is, like, bro, it's so many different genres, and I think that's why I ended up making so many different types of music, because I came up with so many different kinds of music, bro. Like, there was a time where I was listening to nothing but, like, will.i.am or, like, just pop music or
Yeah.
R&B. It was always different. So I think all of that together molded what we have now, which is incredible.
Absolutely. We're here to talk about the new album Love is a Drug, which is now on YouTube. What song do you want to play? I got them all here.
I'll start with number 1, Mrs. Anxiety.
Mixed Anxiety. Track 1. We're going to spin this, and then we'll be right back to talk about the record. Chat room is open. We'll take your questions in the chat as well. So, Miss Anxiety by Gavin Bryce. This is the Codename Cutthroat Podcast.
Leaders Radio.
Hello?
You guys have any rooms?
Yeah.
What?
Hello?
Do you have any rooms?
Yes.
Talk to me, tell me things I need to know. I fall apart every time you leave, and I don't know if I can take it anymore, 'cause I feel like I'm drowning. I can't breathe every time you go back home. It serves me well like a cold in the cold.
That was a fuck up on SP's part. What would it be my show without a mess up? So how you got to run it back, you know?
Hello?
Leaders Radio, we'll be back.
Leaders
You guys have
Radio.
any rooms?
Yeah.
What?
Hello?
Do you have any rooms?
Yes.
Talk to me, tell me things I need to know. I fall apart every time you leave, and I don't know if I can take it anymore, 'cause I feel like I'm drowning. I can't breathe every time you go back home. It serves me well like a cold in the cold. It passes me for the world outside. Why are you pushing me away? I don't know why. I don't know why. Why are you pushing me away? I don't know why. I don't know why. Why are you pushing me away? I don't know why. I don't know why. Why are you pushing me away? I don't know why.
You're tuned into SP's Codename Cutthroat Podcast.
Leaders Radio.
Hello, welcome back, everybody.
Welcome
That song
back.
is amazing.
Thank you, man. It's a vibe. I think with the whole project, the thing is, like, I want people to feel something, regardless of anything I'm saying. It should just make you feel something. That's
Yeah.
the important thing.
And for it to be out as short as it did, it's doing really well.
Yeah, man, that's crazy too. Cause like I think it was like the first day there was 3 songs with over 100 views, and I kept telling myself when I put it out, I was like, it's gonna flop. There's gonna be like 12 people listening to this. So thank you to everybody that's been supporting, for real.
We're of course talking about, if you're just not tuning in, Gavin Bryce here. Love is a Drug album out now on YouTube. When is it coming to Apple Music and Spotify?
I gotta talk to Miles about that. I don't really control all that. I don't know what you would call it.
Got to talk to the big cheese.
Right. I'm not the businessman. I'm just the guy. I guess is one way to put it.
Business sucks. You know?
Yep.
How long did the writing and recording process take?
Well, it was crazy. I started working on the project in 2020, and the version of the project that we have now is like completely separate. But
I remember we were laying some tracks in here.
yeah,
for
bro. Altogether, I recorded like 100 songs for this thing, like across the board. A majority of them were with this man right here, Skyler. And the thing with this project was, when I started working on it, it was a rap album, right? And then it became like a emo grunge thing. I don't know. And then at some point it became like hyper pop. Like there was a point where I was like just gonna do an electronic pop album with this, and then eventually I got to a point where I was like, okay, this ain't gonna work. Like, dude, there was even a point where it was like a nu metal project. Like we recorded a couple like really heavy, or at least tried, you know, to make them as heavy as I possibly could.
They were good. I liked them.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, dude. We had a lot of fun, bro. And that's the thing that sticks with you the most, is those experiences. But as far as the project that we have now goes, I think like probably the oldest thing on it would have been the Love Machine chorus, which I recorded with you 100%. And I remember doing that chorus, and I don't remember what it was, but one day I was just out and about, and I'm going through my emails, and I pulled that up, and I'm like, bro, this chorus is really dope. Like, it's really catchy. And I was like, how can I implement this on the project still? Because I don't know if I'm a perfectionist. I don't want to say that because it just sounds like I'm cocky, but yeah. I just feel like I kept tweaking with it, restarting, and just did that 100 times until we ended up with what we ended up with, I guess.
I remember when the record came out, because we took a couple weeks off from doing this show because I had a podcast appearance with J-So and Donnie Tsunami in St. Louis, which was a blast. You guys got me wasted. I was drunk sitting in the hotel room waiting to go to the pool, listening to the record, just like my fingers crossed, like let the chorus be the same, let the chorus be the same.
Right, bro, because it hits with that let the rain fall. And the original thing that we did, bro, it was a sample of a Bush song, for those of you who don't know, which would be like everybody. My name, Gavin, came from an artist called Gavin Rossdale, who was the lead singer of a grunge band in the 90s called Bush. He was married to Gwen Stefani, for all of you who are under 20 years old. But he just had a song called Mouth, right? And that was the idea. I was going to sample the song that he had called Mouth, and it's basically a cover. And the parts, I think it was like, you give me this or something. And I just, took all that out. I still had the original instrumental, kept the chorus, but then I did the let the rain fall. Sorry, but the concept is, on the first song, you have the lyric where I say, I feel like I'm drowning. I can't breathe when you're not around, like those kind of things.
Yeah.
And you hear the sound of water falling throughout the project on numerous songs in different moments. So that line, let the rain fall down on me in a puddle of misery, all that is connected to the first song, Mrs. Anxiety, where I'm like, I can't breathe when you're not around. I feel like I'm drowning, yada, yada. And
that's a great twist.
Rain sounds, but...
Well, let the people hear it.
Yeah, this is Love Machine, track 2 on Love is a Drug.
Leaders Radio.
Let the rain fall. Let the love machine. She's my love machine till I die. Love machine. She's my love machine.
Welcome back. I guess I didn't put a tag there.
Leaders Radio.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back.
I don't know what my personal favorite is. I think I'll, on the record, I think I'll announce that later. What is the overall like track arrangement? Or I guess I can, because is it from a lot of the uploads? If you upload an album on YouTube, it would happen for me too. Is you would upload the whole thing, but it would be from front to top, not top to bottom or top not
Yeah,
from.
I did. Well, if you look on my channel, like the last song would be the most recent one, and a lot of people do that, but some people do it the other way. I think with me, it was just like, okay, I have the playlist, so they'll know the order if they click on the playlist. Like whenever I post it on social media and everything, I post a link to the playlist. So I hope that people are listening to it in that order because it makes the most sense with like the concept. But
So the order's not backwards. It's or it is backwards. It's from.
yeah,
Okay.
it's backwards on the channel. It's the right way on the playlist. So make sure if you go on Gavin Bryce Music on YouTube, make sure you click the playlist tab and find Love is a Drug, or just listen to it backwards, how it looks, because it can be a bit confusing. But we start with Mrs. Anxiety, and we end with 1,000 Knives, which is going to be a fun one to talk about.
Now the song "The End of Me" has almost like a something in the way type feel to it.
Yeah, man.
It was that was kind of the way the feel I got from it. What was your musical inspiration on that specific track?
To be honest with you, bro, I think it's everything, and this isn't like too insane, but everything from Tool to like Deftones, even Nirvana. I don't know. It's like a mixture of all that. I think like there's moments where it's Alice in Chains, kind of like these are my influences, so I wear them on my sleeve, right?
Right.
Like I think on that particular track, it's hard to say like pinpoint one particular artist or band, but those are definitely some of the names. And shout out to Miles once again, because he called me and he was like, bro, this sounds like Lil Peep. And that's so funny to me, bro, because I'm like, bro, what? Like, all respect, to Gustav or whatever. I hope I didn't say his name wrong. But, bro, no, that's Alice in Chains right there, brother.
Yes.
That's Tool, that's Nirvana, so.
Was the story concept, because it's almost like from a suicidal standpoint.
Yeah. So, there's that line where I'm like, the start of love was the end of me, right? And so it's not a literal like suicide note, but if you notice, and to foreshadow a little bit, on the beginning of the next song, Euphoria, I had a line where I said, I thought I died in my dream again, or I don't remember how I said it. I thought I died. Whatever. It sounded way better than that.
I wasn't going to ask the lyric, the start of love was the end of me.
Yeah.
Is that a metaphor of like welcoming trust to the wrong people, or?
Pretty much, man. That's exactly what that is. Like you give your heart to somebody and then you end up with nothing.
Yeah.
And it's like not a literal death, but a metaphorical death. And then you hear the report of the man at the end of the song talking about 20-year-old commits suicide, yada yada, right?
Yeah.
Like that's my choice to go to that girl and let her break me. So it was kind of like suicide in a way, but it wasn't a literal suicide, which is why on Euphoria I said I thought I died. Like I didn't literally die, but that's what it felt like. And so it's like a suicide. It's like a double entendre, I guess. I don't know. Listen to it.
Awesome. Let's play it. The End of Me.
Yes, sir.
Here on SP's.
We skip Flesh, but that's okay. We'll get to it.
That's okay. I was gonna bounce around anyway. I want the people out there, if
fine.
they listen to the full experience themselves,
Right.
which it is an experience. I recommend people. It's a headphone album for sure.
Yes. And if you're ever like driving around at night, or it's night period, it's great
raining.
night music, like perfect night music.
A rainy night.
Right.
Everything's all glossy.
Yep.
You got your codeine. Yeah. Here it is. The End of Me. This is a Codename Cutthroat podcast. We're here with Gavin Bryce talking about Love is a Drug, which is out now on YouTube. Let's get to it, man.
Yes, sir.
Let's play the track. We'll be back, you guys.
Leaders Radio.
Why do we run away? Grab the gun and play the game. Why do I try? Why do I try? Maybe I'm better off dead. Maybe I'm better off dead. Maybe I'm better off dead. Yeah. Was the end of me?
Have not released a name pending notification of next of kin. Now, to bring you up to date, apparently an electrician was inside the home this morning at approximately 8:30 when that electrician discovered the body of a white male, apparently in his 20s. Police found a one-page suicide note next to the body, also some form of ID.
Heavy.
Yes, sir.
Heavy shit. You know, I was listening to that track. It kind of reminds me of Danger Keep Away by Slipknot on their third record.
That's really cool, dude.
The ending eeriness of it.
That's so cool to hear that, bro. Corey's another one, bro. There's so many that I haven't mentioned. We talked in the break about Kid Cudi. That's another one. Bro.
Yeah.
So many amazing artists that are, even The Weeknd, bro, in some ways and aspects. Like, these artists are responsible for this.
So, Gavin Bryce, straight from the 618. A lot of artists. There's a lot of artists. Like, I'm starting to learn of artists I've never even heard of just from being around and being around people.
Yep.
I mean, you've collaborated with JB, Cortland Jabray, J-So, Squally, to only name a few. There's so many more out there. Four Seasons. What was your favorite person to collaborate with?
Man, bro, I want to say you, bro.
I was gonna almost tell you not to.
I got to, bro. Like, I think that it's such a brotherhood, bro. Like, even in times where we may have bumped heads or whatever, I don't know if there was anything ever there, but I can tell you that the most fun that I've had, because we just get in there, like, we just have fun with it, right?
Yeah.
We don't see it necessarily as a business, which we do when we need to, but we just have fun, and I think there's such a freedom with that. Even though, like, 99% of this stuff doesn't come out, it's so fun still just to get in there and just have fun.
And to even keep it in the vault and stuff.
Right.
I think good vibes create good records.
Absolutely, bro.
You can tell when an artist is uncomfortable.
Bro, I got like 20 songs out plus like 6 more because of the album, right? And we've recorded like 300. So put that into perspective. I've recorded with, bro, everybody. I've recorded with Cortland. I've recorded with Four Seasons. But it's just a different type of freedom here because we're just having fun with it, right? We're just doing it for fun. And I think
we just fuck around kind of.
Right. and sometimes greatness comes out of that. Sometimes I cringe because I know personally from like, let's say the pandemic, most of the music that I was recording with you in the pandemic, I was drunk all the time. So
Yeah,
I look
we had a
back
lot of
at
time to kill.
Right. I look back like that era, and I'm like, okay, well, this verse is stupid or that verse is stupid, but you know, it was fun, and it's always gonna live with me. So
How would
I
you
appreciate
describe?
that.
Yeah, it's awesome. Thank you, by the way.
Sure.
How would you describe, like, I don't really know how would you describe today's music scene in the 618?
I think it sucks.
I was gonna say, even if there is one,
No,
because there is one, but it's over. I think I said this in my last interview. It was like it's overshadowed by
100%.
popularity. It's a giant popularity contest. A lot of people get swept under the rug.
I think like you have your mains, right? Your mains would be like Cortland, Sean. You know, you got Cuddy, not Kid Cudi, but if you know, you know, up in East St. Louis.
If you know, you know.
Yeah. You got these guys, and I think that there's like a specific group of people that are picked. Like, you have artists that are doing amazing things that aren't getting picked, in a sense that they're not getting the shine that the Cortlands are getting, even though the Cortlands, and I love Four Seasons, bro, literally my manager, right? But I have to be honest, he doesn't live in the 618 anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Cortland doesn't live in the 618 anymore. Sean doesn't live in the
Sean's gone,
618
yeah.
anymore. So for them to still be the guys that are like running the 618 scene when they're not here, as much love as I have for those people, I think we have to move on and we have to give some shine to some of the newer guys that are coming out. And there's a lot of great ones, you know?
You think it's because we're lazy?
I don't know.
it could be.
Well, I think this is another thing, right? We don't have necessarily the funds to go out to Las Vegas
Yeah.
and do some of the things that these guys are doing. Like Miles is in Georgia right now. Or no, he's not in Georgia. Cortland's in Georgia. Miles is somewhere in the east. I don't know. But all these guys, they've sort of built up this, you know, this moolah, and so to
Top
speak.
dollar lifestyle.
And then they've kind of just left the 618 behind. And they'll always be 618 regardless, but
That's a big world out there. You know?
right, there's so many artists here, bro. Like there's so many good, bad, doesn't matter. There's so many point blank, and I think it's important to support them, or at least check them out, you know?
Yeah. Take some time, you know. I got the killer question. What's your 618 top 6? We'll go top 6 because the new album, Love is a Drug, which is out now, has 6 songs on it. So we're doing top 6, not top 10.
That's actually crazy. Okay, this is in no particular order. I can't do orders, but
No order.
I'll say
No ranking.
I'll give 6, but one could be above the other. It could go in any way with these 6. So I know I was just kind of talking smack on Cortland and them, but I have to put those 3 in there.
Absolutely.
Because you just have to. Cortland, number 1. I know I said I wasn't going to rank him. I won't rank the rest, but number 1 has to be Cortland, right? You know, in the same rooms as Kanye, in the same rooms as Kendrick, in the same rooms, you know, as the Drakes of the world. And
Plus, he's a kick-ass artist, too.
right,
you
he's
know?
amazing, bro. So, you know, number 1. Give me Chapo, who mixed and mastered Pain over at Miles' house whenever they were living together. Like I mentioned earlier, I mean, Chapo, I have so much respect for him, so he's got to be in there. Give me Sean. I hate that I hate that I have to do this because they're not really here, but they're still, you know, a part of it.
Yeah.
Give me Miles, and give me, I want to say JB, and I might be biased.
JB.
I might be biased, but I don't know. You know what? Give me everybody. Everybody's going in the top 5.
Everybody. Put them all in one suitcase,
Yeah,
and that's...
we'll just mix them together. You know, we'll make it work.
What about mainstream?
Top 5 mainstream artists.
Yeah. We don't got to do 6. We do 5.
Give me Kendrick Lamar. Okay, Kendrick Lamar. Give me Kanye West. I know there's a lot of stuff going on, but make great music. Make great music. Give me Eminem. Give me The Weeknd. And give me 21 Savage. Because there's a certain ruthlessness and aggression there that I just love.
There you have it. That was a good pick.
Thank you.
Mine would have pretty much been kind of the same.
Right.
You got to throw a Party Next Door in there. That's when you're hungover after, after the weekend. Yeah.
See, I'm on the fence with that because I never got into Party, and I know you've supported him and rocked with him for the longest time, right? But I just couldn't. I don't know what it was. I think it was the character, because sometimes I have to have a character to fall in love with. Like with The Weeknd, there's a character there. With even with Kendrick on the different albums, there's a character. With Eminem, there's a character.
Yeah.
I think the music could be great, but I think for me to fully dive into the artist, there has to be like some kind of performance art there. Well, I guess I can't really put Slipknot in there, but I think if I had to say, like with rock, right?
Yeah, like rock.
Slipknot are a good example of that. There's a character there. There's a performance art there that is just unmatched. No matter what, even if you don't like the music, you can admire what you're looking at and have a great time, and a great experience. Do you remember, this is kind of off topic, not really, but kind of.
Yeah, right.
I had the Young Durag character, and I thought, oh, this is it.
I think I still have that do-rag somewhere in here.
Bro, I thought, I swear 100% in my heart, I thought, oh, this is it. It was going to be like the boom bap thing. For those of you who haven't heard my song No Lies with JB, no, it was No Hook. I had a do-rag, and that was my character. I was Young Durag. I thought, oh, this is it, right? This is the next Slim Shady. No, it sucked. But it was just kind of a attempt at that. I don't know what I'm doing now. I think I just have myself out of the way, and it's just letting the music speak now. But I don't know.
Yeah. The mainstream is in such a weird spot right now because they got a battle with AI.
Yeah.
Like AI's taking over radio now. What do you think about AI in music, like AI in lyrics and production? Because it's all mashing together everything that's in the internet, which is just thousands of years of hard work in like putting it all in a blender.
Well, let's acknowledge the great prophet will.i.am, because in 2009 he said that would happen. And if you go back, look at the I'ma Be music video, like he said that would happen. I think he was quite literally so 3008, and y'all were so 2008.
So was Black Eyed Peas the first AI?
I think they like,
holy shit,
they like set all that in stone, bro. Listen, I know
truth bombs.
I know we clown BEP, but bro, they did a lot of things, bro. Plus, will.i.am produced with Michael Jackson. Who can say they can do that? I don't think Kanye ever produced with him, Jay.
I don't know.
He maybe did. I don't know.
I think he did.
Possibly.
I think he said he did.
Still, shout out to the guy will.i.am.
What do you think is the number one problem in the business?
Rabies. No, I don't know. Number one problem in the business
Epstein
is ego.
Island.
Yeah, Epstein Island. Number one problem in the business is ego and this feeling that we all got to be the best and everybody has to worship us.
Yeah.
Like, none of that matters, bro. If listen, I went with the expectation of 16 to 20 people listening to my project, and if that happened, I wouldn't have been butthurt. Because, look, I love the music, and whoever gives it a chance and a shot, thank you.
Yeah,
but we can't be
down-ass people.
Right. we can't be so caught up in the metrics and the numbers and stuff. I think there's too many people that are like, oh, I'm on a higher hill than you, so I'm more important than you. But
right.
I mean, look at the Blue Faces and the Cardi B's of the world. No disrespect, but I do think that there's something to be said about status, and you don't have to have status necessarily to be a good artist or to be important.
Yeah.
So just gotta be humble.
Because there's so many really great artists who don't really have much stature.
Right. There's phenomenal artists that aren't even being played, and then there's artists that are being played that completely suck. So
What's another track you want to give him off the record?
Let's give him Flesh, man. This was a song that I pretty much came up with last minute, and the singing is terrible, but it adds to the grunge of the record, I think.
I think, in my opinion, it has to be the most disturbing and eerie sounding track on the record. What was the story behind it?
It was kind of a connection to Mrs. Anxiety as well, because I had on Mrs. Anxiety, I'm like, why you pushing me away? I don't know why. And then on Flesh, I'm talking about the same girl, and I'm saying, swinging back and forth from the ceiling, you pushed away my love and it kills me. So what I'm saying I suffocate when you're gone. All those things are connected, right? The suffocating and everything.
Right.
But me saying swinging back and forth from the ceiling, that was just a metaphor again for like the feeling like I'm suffocating, but it all connects. That song for me is a little bit hard to listen to, but I love that it's hard to listen to. I think it brings some kind of
Almost like a
feeling.
healing thing.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like dark, but it's a good kind of dark.
I got some stuff like that too. All right, let's get
Right.
into it. Flesh on Your Love Is a Drug out now on YouTube. Codename Cutthroat, Leaders Radio. We'll be back.
Leaders Radio.
Now I wonder why did I leave you? Just to let someone else deceive you. I suffocate when you're gone. But we were both in a run. I told you I won't leave. I left you. I'm sorry. Remember the real you. You hate me, you still do, and I feel the same. 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 Swinging back and forth on the ceiling. You pushed away my love and it kills me. I suffocate when you're gone. But we were both in a run. I told you I won't leave. I left you. I'm sorry. Remember the real you. You hate me, you still do, and I feel the same. And I feel the same. And I feel the same. And I feel the same.
You're tuned into SP's Codename Cutthroat podcast. Demented as usual.
Hello,
Welcome back.
internet world. That song is cool. Most of the songs are like 2 minutes and 2 minutes and some change. What's the longest song on the record?
I think 308 on 1,000 Knives. You know what? I think X inspired that, like, whether directly or indirectly. I think subconsciously I did that because of X. I think it's something that works in that aspect. Like, if you have a song where you're just trying to create a feeling and an emotion, you don't got to do that for 6 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you're trying to tell a great story, like Stan's like a 7-minute song. If I was doing something like that, I'd probably be more focused on that, but I don't know.
I think every artist but the bad ones are inspired by X.
Yeah, I think so.
Every artist except the shitty ones.
Yeah.
So the summer coming up, all these live shows people are doing. Squally just wrapped up Denver. We're gonna have him on the next episode next weekend. How many live concerts have you done?
Like 4. I don't know. I really don't know. I guess the first one that we did was the Fall Fest in 2019, and that was with JB and Jay Lazarus, who's no longer in the business. And that was all, thanks to Cortland again, because that era we was rocking heavy with Cortland. But
The
after
stage
that,
looked big too.
that was fun. We had a lot of fun, and we just got to party. Just go up there and just listen to great music and be a part of it, I say listen to great music when we're the ones that are in the studio creating it, but that's kind of the aspect I look at it with.
So you got this Love is a Drug album and a couple singles prior. How many releases or projects have you made, like total? Not like released, but created. Because I remember the Where's the Twisted World era.
We'll get right back to that, but real quick, I wanna shout out James Ware because this just came to me. But when we did that first show, he was on there with us. He came right after us, and whenever I did the Four Seasons tour in 2021, which was the last one, the first and the last, he was there too, and we had a lot of great conversations backstage. So I want to shout out to his family and everything, and it's unfortunate what happened, but he was the homie, and I got to have some great experiences with him through this music thing, so shout out to him. But
beautiful.
Back to that Twisted World question. So what happened with that was I sampled Pain, my first song. I sampled that. And for those of you who don't know how sampling works, you got to clear the sample. Like, if you don't clear the sample, you're going to get in trouble. And you don't think about that when you're the person. I made the song, right?
Yeah.
So I got in trouble for that, and it got banned here in the States. You can listen to it in some places. Like, I know China, you can listen to Gavin's Twisted World. So if I ever blow up and I go on an overseas tour, they'll have that music still. So I'll have to like perform that for them exclusively or something if that ever happens. But
was Pain the first song you ever did, like ever?
Yeah, that was the first like real. Well, I can't say that because I was like recording demos.
Like ever?
I was recording like little. I don't even know if demos is the right word. I was just messing around, but it was nothing like professional. I was just goofing off on my phone and like on the camera and stuff and just like freestyling and stuff. And the first like song was Pain, of course, but.
That's how I started out, but I fucked up because all that stupid video stuff I did when I was a kid, I actually uploaded and can't get rid of it. It's just on the internet.
That's dangerous.
I know.
See, I'm blessed to have the same channel because I know you got like 7 channels, bro.
Yeah.
I'm blessed to have the same channel that I had, 5 years ago when I started this thing because I can go back and tweak things, There have been a lot of demos that came out that are no longer there, but the stuff that matters is always going to be there,
Plus, in today's YouTube market, it's hard to start a channel from the ground.
Right.
It'll take you a good year.
I don't want people to get confused either and be like, oh, well, where do I go to hear this particular song or that particular song? Like, you know where to find me.
What do you remember about the recording process of Pain? Did you expect it to blow up like it did?
No way. Well, the freestyle already blew up, and I think it had like 5,000 views at that point.
Did you release the freestyle before Pain, or?
Yeah. The freestyle came out July 25th, 2018, exactly a month after my 16th birthday. I was born in 2002. And we recorded Pain on September 23rd, 2018. I don't know why it took me a second. So you got to think about that. That was just a couple months, right? Yeah. Just a couple months after the freestyle, whenever Miles and Chapo were like, hey, come through. And we started rocking with Autopsy heavy. And I just remember like showing up without lyrics, right? But it wasn't entirely freestyle. This is what we did. And Chapo, all them dudes can tell you, bro. We had everybody there, bro. And I specifically remember going, well, I made it here, but I don't have the lyrics. So we walk in there. Me and my mom was with me. So we walk in there. She's my ride and everything. So I'm standing in front of this mic. We got the beat pulled up. Shout out to Naze who produced it. And I'm just freaking out because I'm like, bro, what do I do? But then I'm like, well, I remember pencil pointed at the notepad like a pistol pointed at my head. Either way, I'll be letting out lead. I don't think you just heard what I said. I feel like in my like I remembered that section. So I go in my mind, okay, so I know that first clip and I know a piece of the chorus. I didn't remember everything exactly, but I knew how it went. The pistol popping now, like I knew to do what I had in mind and then build upon it. So what we did like 7 takes, and I'm sitting there and Chapo's just recording me, and Miles is sitting there. Miles was the one who was like helping me to sing, because for those of you who don't know, you can't just go in there and be like, hey, give me auto-tune, and then it sound great. It's still gonna sound horrible if you're not, trying to harmonize or you're actually trying to sing. You got to know how to do that. So
it's got to find something to,
right. It's got to be able to catch something in order to put it in whatever direction you're trying to put it in. But think that was like C minor, C major, or something like that. But yeah, so I record the part that I remember, and then I record the chorus, and then it goes. I was great at freestyling at the time, right? From you could tell, like, if you would have listened to the freestyle that I came out with, the Jocelyn Flores. So
Yeah.
I knew I could do this, but I was so nervous because there were so many people. So he gets me some water, and I'm just like, all right, here we go. And then I laid down like half of that verse, boom. And then the struggle was trying to pick up from where we left off. So then we were just picking it back up, and we're trying to make sure everything fits. I don't want any filler, and on top of that, I don't want there to be a moment where the flow's off or anything, because that can happen a lot when you're freestyling.
Yeah.
But it ended up working phenomenally, and one of my favorite flows was at the end where I'm like, to release my pain on my knees I pray. I don't want to be this way, so I need a way out of my defeat today. I'll let Jesus lead the way. I can't do that now. I can look at anybody and tell them, like, I don't know how to do that now. And I could do it if I write it, right? We saw the Aftermath, the Acrobat. Like, I can do it if I see the paper and I write it. But at 16 years old, bro, I was just a beast with it, bro. Like, I would have flamed anybody.
How influential is your faith to your music?
What's crazy is, for a majority of this thing, I ran away from my faith. And I think it's great that you asked me that, bro. Because when I started off in 2018, I was all in. You know, my purpose was to help people. And you know, go listen to the freestyle and go listen to Pain. You see that. But there's a big chunk where it stops being that.
Yeah.
And that was because of pride. That was because of hurt. I was broken. I had some failed relationships, as you hear in the music. But I let those things drive me away from my faith because of how hurt I was. And I started just, you know, I stopped caring. And I drifted away, and I lost myself. And you see that, especially during the pandemic, you see that this guy's gone. Like, who is this guy? He's a completely different person than the person who made Pain. The person who made Pain is the person right here. But the person, like, let's say, First Day Out, as great as that song is,
yeah,
who I was on the inside and who I was as a person was not who I am. And a lot of that was bitterness, and a lot of that was pride. And I was hurt, man. So I ran away from the faith, and then got back on the ship shortly after I started the rollout for this album or this EP, because I think it was October 25th. I came out with the first like little cryptic teaser and announced that Love Is a Drug was coming. And whenever I announced that, maybe it was like 2 or 3 days later, I got really sick with pneumonia. I had COVID. I had upper respiratory infection. I had laryngitis. I had all this stuff at the same time.
Yeah.
And I had a near-death experience in the hospital, and that was what woke me up. And I got back on the ship, and I found myself again through that experience. And yeah, I think it's incredible now, because you don't just see, oh, this is this is not a perfect man, right? You see that in the music. You see there's moments where I'm doing well, and then there's moments where I'm drifting. Like, you listen to No Lies, all about my faith and all about what Jesus Christ did for me. And then you listen to First Day Out, and it's me threatening you that I'm going to take your woman and you know, put my genitals in her or something, right? Like, it's completely different.
Are there any songs from the past you regret?
Not that are currently out. I did a song in 2019 called Not So Happy Valentine's Day. I got a Lil Peep sample, had a Lil Peep sample on there. And that did like, I think it was like 11,000 views. Still less than the beginning, what I was doing in the beginning in 2018. But that was February 2019, and I took it down sometime in the pandemic because I had a lyric in there that I won't, rephrase. But I mentioned an ex-girlfriend by name, and that wasn't cool. And
that is number one mistake.
Yeah, so regardless of how well it did, bro, all 11, I don't remember. They can all go, bro. Like, my status doesn't matter more than my personal life, I guess.
Exactly. And you're not afraid to show that. You're not afraid to wear your emotions on a sleeve. I think that's what draws me as a listener to your music, especially the newer one. It's growing to be a little more personal and
yeah, man,
welcoming instead of isolated and pushed away.
Right. It's so much more serious too, bro. Like, you hear back to that era where I lost myself, you hear a lot of like distance from who Gavin Bryce, the person, was when Pain came out or when the freestyle was made. It's like there's a huge difference and distance there, and almost unrecognizable. But again, that goes to the thing where people can look at it and go, "Oh, this is a human being,"
Yeah.
and that contributes, even though it was a bad time in my life where I was just poisoning myself and just completely lost and hurt. Luckily, I found my freedom and my happiness again. But during that time, and the music that I was making, I think it contributes to the story that's being told, the overall story of this is a man and this is a human being who has emotions, who has flaws, who goes through normal things that people go through, whether it's, you know, the struggle with the alcohol addiction or the struggle with whatever it is, going to jail for fighting and just different things, right?
That hood rat shit.
Yeah, it's like the most human music you can hear, and even on Love Is a Drug, bro, it's not, there's no rap or anything. It's not necessarily like a.
That was one thing about the record too, like no verses.
Yeah,
or like
it was,
no bar, or you know what I mean.
It was like almost like, okay, how can I express human emotion without having to say the word depression?
Yeah.
How can I express human emotion without having to say the word anxiety, right? Not many people can do that. I think you're great at it, you know, but there's a lot of artists that they have no way of expressing emotion unless they're saying the name of the emotion.
They can't paint a picture of feeling, they need it spoon-fed to them.
Right. It's almost easier to say, I'm depressed, I'm lonely, than it is to tell your story and to give your emotion and let people feel it naturally.
Yeah.
But you can tell when it's natural and when it's unnatural. You can tell it's natural on tracks like Pain. You can tell it's natural on this record. But there are songs where I may have been talking about something and it might sound unnatural, or it might sound forced, or it might just be complete story and not reality of emotion and everything. Like, this is
kind
my
of
heart.
uncomfortable and
Right. This music is just human emotion, and I think I'm better at expressing that now than I ever was.
Now back to the creation of your music, like when you're in the studio, how does that process kind of go for you? Do you need the beat first, or will you have an idea? Because I know I make a lot of my own beats.
Yeah.
So it'll just be of how I feel in the beat. Would you need to hear a beat, like if you're beat searching, and one grabs your attention, you'll write a story to it? And do you like the writing process more than freestyling, or what would you prefer?
Well, I'll answer the latter question first, because I want to acknowledge that right now I can't freestyle how I could at 16. Like, I'm not a spitter like that, right? I'm not an MC like that. I think now, even though then I would have told you, oh yeah, freestyling is the way, right? Like, now, sitting down to write and premeditate and put the best possible sequence of words and emotions together is the main focus.
Yeah.
And it's always different. Like, sometimes, because I make beats too, but not all the time. And sometimes there might be a situation where, because I use FL, so I might hear like a loop, and I might be like, okay, I want to build on this. Or I might like come up with this crazy pattern and then be like, oh, I need to do something with this. And then I'll finish that completely, and then I'll start writing. And then there might be situations like 1,000 Knives, where it's a YouTube beat produced by who was it? Gray Skies, I believe. And I heard that, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna write to this. And then you have the circumstance where you're just eager to put something, you know, you have something in your mind, so you gotta hurry up and write it down or type it, however you do it.
Yeah.
And then you find a beat for it, or then you create a beat around it. But it's always different. I think the main thing is, what do I feel?
Yeah.
Because if you don't feel it, nobody else is gonna feel it, right?
Yeah. And
And
what are
that's
you gonna
something-
write about? Your shoes?
Right. Like, I've never been like the material person. Like, I've always been the emotion guy. Like, I just want to talk about what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And I'm a really awkward, corny dude. Like, I'm kind of laid back in the background kind of person. I've never been like the flashy, look at my chains, like, look at, you know. You got a fire fit on, by the way, but I'm just saying.
I was precautious of what I hate these video Podcast. Got my jeans on, yeah.
You got the Adidas, bro. Shout out to Adidas because they recently let Kanye back in after some things were explained and dealt with, and you know.
What are your thoughts on Kanye West? I know you're a big fan.
Oh yeah. Well, see, first and foremost, I'm a Jesus freak, right? Everybody knows that. I want them to know that. I want it to be Jesus first. So when I look at Kanye,
own that shit.
Right? It's everything, bro. I love it. I'm so happy. I'm a happy person. I don't have the depression. It's like it never existed.
That's beautiful.
I love that. It's amazing. Because the drugs temporarily satisfy it. The money, all those things.
It's
the women,
quick fix.
the sleeping around and being a hoe that I was doing.
Yeah.
Just being honest, like it temporary satisfaction. So, anyways, to get to Kanye, I see how hated he is, and I remember how loved he was by the big Hollywood people, right? And now it's the big Hollywood people in the media that are pushing against Kanye, but they weren't doing that until he took a stand for his faith. And there's a verse, and whether we think Jesus Christ was a psycho or actually the savior of the world, I think that it's important to note that he once said, if the world hates you, remember that it hated me first. Jesus Christ is the most hated person in human history. He's a cuss word. And we don't mock Jesus Christ, or we don't mock Buddha, we don't mock Muhammad on earth at the Grammys, in music videos, in music, in entertainment. We don't use Buddha as a cuss word. We don't use Muhammad as a cuss word. We don't use, whoever. We use Jesus. So if he's true, and he's saying, if the world hates you, remember that it hated me first. And we see the transition with Kanye from going from religious, which Jesus never said be religious. He never taught a religion. That's a big, it's an understanding confusion, but it is something that needs to be addressed. And I think with Kanye taking a stand for Jesus Christ, even making an album called Jesus is King, and saying himself, like, I don't want to be religious anymore. I want to actually live this thing out and follow this thing, like, with all my heart. And then seeing the result of that being how hated he becomes, in the media spewing out a million things, some things that are true, some things that are lies, some things that are taken out of context. Same thing they've always done with Donald Trump. I think it is important to note that. And, Donald Trump in videos taking a stand for Jesus Christ and saying, I'm not the most famous man in the world, Jesus Christ is, and saying, like, bringing his Bible onto his stuff, and then seeing how hated he is. Well, where's that for any other belief?
Do you think it's an example of, like, media run amok?
I think so. I think the media, I don't want to get too Bible here, but there is a verse where the Bible says Satan is the god of this world. It doesn't say Jesus is the god of this world. It doesn't say the creator is the god of this world. It says Satan is the god of this world, Lucifer, the fallen angel who rules everything, the entertainment, the music, everything. Now, if that's the truth, for 2 seconds, that's why Jesus is a cuss word. That's why Jesus is mocked. That's why the media is so anti that and pro everything else. And again, the entertainment industry and everything. So I think if he's the god of this world, that also has to mean that he's the god of the media. He's the god of the music. He's the god of the entertainment, right? The Bible teaches that he was a musician. He was a fallen musician. And I don't know. I think that there is a power there. There is a force there. And if Satan's real, his biggest lie is going to be that he's not. If Satan's real and he's really the god of this world, then surely this world won't know it. Yeah. If he is who he says he is, right? But my thing is just like when I see a Kanye, for example, being falsely accused of things, and some things being taken out of context, some jokes, different things like that, I think there is a reason behind it, because we don't see that with other people. We see that with the people that are talking about Jesus and taking a stand for this person that we use as a cuss word. Yeah. And I know, like, me personally, bro, bro, the stuff that people tell me, bro, on Facebook and Messenger, people don't like me. There's a lot of people that don't like me. They hate some of the stuff I post, and obviously I intend to bring that in the music more in the coming years or future, whatever, months, whatever. But there is a real force behind that, because if I was making music or making posts about Buddha or Muhammad, nobody would say anything. So I think yeah, I don't know where we just got, but we got there.
Facebook is a giant problem with how people communicate with each other.
So much hate.
Yeah.
And that's the world in general, but Facebook, bro, it's like so much division. Like, bro, you tell somebody Jesus loves you, and their first thing is kill yourself.
And you can't take emotion from text characters, you know.
Right. We live in I believe with all my heart, we live in a fallen creation, and that's why things are the way that they are.
I feel that. If you're just now tuning in, we're sitting here with Gavin Bryce. His album, Your Love is a Drug, is out now on YouTube, coming soon to all streaming platforms, we think.
Yeah, hopefully. I got to talk to Miles about that. I'm not the guy, but...
We're going to go into a quick commercial break here. When we come back, we're going to spin... I think we got 2 more tracks off the record.
Sir.
And then we'll talk more. We'll share some stories, and then got some plugs. And then we'll get down to the meat and potatoes of the plate.
Yeah, man. The barbecue sauce, everything.
Yes. You're tuned in to the Code Node. If I can pronounce, I need a podcast with a shorter name. You notice every single one of these shows have a long, extravagant name that I butcher every time.
We'll just call it the show.
This is the CC show.
Yeah.
Episode 3 on Leaders Radio. We'll be back after this break. Shucky ducky, quack quack.
You're tuned into SP's Codename Cutthroat podcast. We'll be right back after this short break.
Come on! Leaders Radio. Hey, don't forget to follow Gavin Bryce on all social media.
Hey, yo.
It's the aftermath, the acrobat is back in action, snapping at him half the savage that I was, but I still might.
Gavin Bryce on Facebook.
At It's Gavin Bryce on Instagram.
At Gavin Bryce Music on YouTube. At It's Gavin Bryce on Twitter.
And at Gavin Bryce on SoundCloud.
You should have stayed at home. Better put down that phone. 'Cause they can't stop what we've begun.
Also listen to his music on Leaders Radio.
New from Leaders Entertainment District. The debut self-titled album from Flight Risk. 8 self-produced tracks available on all music streaming platforms including Pandora and Spotify. Follow the band on Facebook and Instagram at Flight Risk Online and subscribe to the YouTube channel to see all video content from the band.
Detained non-suspect held me for a week. Crime me down, but I refuse to speak.
You're tuned in to SP's Codename Cutthroat podcast, where ASMR is just someone rubbing a microphone on their testicles.
New to Leaders Radio, J. Miko. Insomnia Addict.
And you try to tell me you been with me, seem like you trying to get rid of me. I put a lock in that back door, I finna say when twin with me. Hey, she give me tie pass out, and I'm off a Zen, I might black out. My auntie keep telling me to sit down, if I'm nervous I'm pulling that blick out. Said niggas around you ain't real, hey, fuck around I had the nail song. I got a feeling to tell song, said these nigga pussy I smell some. Hey, I got that car, I had a weak stomach, ever since then I ain't feel nothing. I feel the family, I dope money, nigga. I touch $1 million, they free chuggy like nah.
Listen to the full song now on Leaders Radio.
You're tuned into SP's Codename Cutthroat podcast, another YouTube show with a rapper host. Fucking perfect.
Coming soon from Leaders Entertainment District. A brand new mixtape from Skylar Pendergast. Computer. Featuring guest features from Gavin Bryce, Scully 2 times, J So 100 Mil, Joey Fry, and J Miko.
No, I don't wanna think of a life
Skylar Pendergast.
Computer.
Coming this March to all music streaming platforms.
Also,
Catch Skylar live in concert this summer.
dates to be announced.
SP's Code Name Cutthroat Podcast. If you don't like it, fuck you. Oh.
Leaders Radio.
Yeah.
Shout out to Nays, bro. Shout out to Nays.
Nays on the beat.
Big part of the story.
This was the song right here that started it all.
Yup.
It's a long journey.
Gotta give my flowers again to Chapo and Miles for giving me the opportunity to come through and make this thing happen.
A little birdie in the word of the grapevine is there's a little something special coming related to this song.
Yes, so me and Skylar, we decided to do a remix to Pain. So that's going to come out as a single. Be on the lookout for that.
Which I'm honored to be a part of.
I don't know where we're going to drop it. If we drop it on Leaders Radio, if we drop it on my channel, if we drop it on your channel. But
put on your channel.
That'll work. So what we'll do is we'll get that out and just be on the lookout for it because you know me. You got my socials.
So we're here to plug the record Your Love Is a Drug, out now on YouTube, coming soon to everywhere else. If you guys haven't heard it, I do recommend going to listen to it because it is by far an experience.
Very weird music, dark, weird. I'm a dark, weird guy, so why not have dark, weird music?
I'm into dark, weird things.
Fucking thing sucks!
Oh, that's the wrong button. See, I was trying to find your button because I still have your classic.
I hate it. I hate it.
Hey, y'all don't know about that.
What's the special story that's never been told behind this little?
I hate it.
We had a studio session. I don't even remember what song it was, bro, but we had some sessions where, bro, I was like so drunk or just so like exhausted. And there were times where I just wasn't feeling it, whether it be, drunk or whatever. It was just a different era. So I'm in there making 40 different takes to get 2 lines out, And then I would hear it back and I'd be like, I hate it, right? So that's an iconic thing right there.
I thought it was funny to save. I like saving little like random things.
It became iconic, bro. It's like it's the thing, right?
That and a few of the other ones.
You get nothing. You lose.
But we're here to talk about Love Is a Drug, the album out now. In the track Euphoria, what was the main idea behind the song?
Euphoria is the high. So like Love Is a Drug. Well, no. Euphoria is the come down.
Is it like the after peak of the record?
Yeah, man. So that's like the LSD trip gets to a level that you don't want it to get to. And like, the previous song, The End of Me, when I'm, again, it's like a suicide song. And when I'm saying like the start of love was the end of me, and then you have the reporter talking about my death, metaphorical death or whatever. On that song, you have the lyric, I thought I died, so I think it ties together. And the death was a part of the high, right? It was the delusion. It was a part of this experience. The start of love was the end of me. So, Euphoria is the come down. It's the experience that you don't want to get to, but in this case, you do.
Awesome. Want to give it to the people?
Yes.
Let's give it to the people. I say give it to the people like it's not out yet. Like I got the fucking exclusive. I might do that with Computer on the show.
You should.
I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But here it is. Gavin Bryce, Euphoria, off the album Your Love Is a Drug on the Codename Cutthroat Podcast.
SP's Codename Cutthroat Podcast. It makes me feel young again. Anyone want a Percocet?
Leaders Radio.
guys. Here on episode 3. I might change the name of this episode when this is all done. I'm going to give it like the Gavin Bryce interview or something spectacular. But we are plugging this record.
Yeah.
It's kind of a 2-in-1. That song, it ends with the phone beep. I was wondering if it bleeded into... Is it the end of me that starts out with the phone call?
Yeah. So my thing with that was like, technically there's not an order with that because like you have I don't know. I'll use Kendrick's "Good Kid, Mad City" as an example because you have moments where different pieces of the prayer pop up at different times, but then you have his next album, "To Pimp a Butterfly," where he has a poem that he connects everything with, and that
it kind of checks back into the story.
Right. That one has more of an order, but with "Good Kid," it's kind of just all over the place, not chronological. So I think with this experience, you're just high, bro. Like that's the whole project. You're just having this out-of-body experience, which is like the embodiment of love in sound form. Like the experience from feeling like you're being pushed away. The next song, "1,000 Knives," is like a toxic relationship and even goes into the depths of like the love of a friend, where I'm saying I'm the boy with no real friends, which obviously is not the case, but you know, different types of love and different forms of what happens in a relationship all over the place, but at the same time being intertwined.
Right. Who made the beats for the project? Was it just various producers?
I'm underrated, bro, because I did most of these beats, and I told my cousin Brantley, and he's like, "Bro, you're amazing." But I didn't produce anything on "1,000 Knives." There's not a single sound on there that I'm responsible for, anything like no snares, nothing.
1,000 Knives, of course, being the song we're gonna go into here. How would you best set that song up?
Well, first of all, shout out to Gray Skies, because incredible beat. I think it's kind of like a Breaking Benjamin kind of a sound, and we originally recorded that song shortly after I started the Love Is a Drug rollout, and I think I did record that one with you. And I remember whenever I was recording that song, I had COVID, and I didn't know I had COVID yet. Like, this was early on. I just thought I had a cold. But it was like 4 or 5 days later, I got a breathing machine on me, and I'm hooked up to oxygen, and I got all these wires. So kind of a surreal experience to go from that to that so fast. But of course, you know, shout out to your daughter, because she produced everything on the record. She wrote all the lyrics.
Yes.
But I don't know. It's just a really cool sounding song.
Now, before we get to 1,000 Knives, excuse me. During the break, we were talking a little bit about the track, "The First Day Out" track.
Yeah.
A rough moment in your life, coming home from a small time in a cell. How would you best describe that time and period in that track?
Bro, I was drinking every day, so I was very, everything's kind of fuzzy, but I can say that, you know, the substance abuse and the life that I was trying to live, it's the reason why I went to jail in the first place, right? So I think with a lot of the anger and you know, things that came from my personal experience with substance abuse, I think it resulted in that experience, which resulted in a great song and a great piece of my story. And I try my best to look at it that way. Like, you can see the good, you can see the bad, you can see the ugly. And I think that is the embodiment of the ugly in my story.
Yeah.
But it was the first song I did when I got out of jail. And shout out to you, bro. You've always welcomed me whenever I didn't have anywhere to go, like, quite literally. So
no problem.
I thank you for that. And
I remember we did that song, and we went to West Front. We were looking for places to do a music video, because I just recently got this. I don't know if it was this new program, but it was something I wanted to try out.
Yeah.
And I was like, we would do music videos up there and never see the light of day. This one actually came out.
It did. It was out there for a bit. And I want to acknowledge this because I had like 4, I don't know, something like that, music videos done. And some of them have came out and been privatized, and some of them have never seen the light of day. But I think there's so much. I'm a really insecure person. Like, I'm a ghost on earth, right? Like, just going about my way, right? And I think with that aspect of it, and those of you who were able to experience it, you know, like it was a whole different thing. It was a different time. But I don't like being in the forefront necessarily. I don't like being. I mean, this is fine, right? This isn't gonna like affect my ego or something. But I think with like some of the music videos, it almost like terrifies me, because I'm like having this real life LSD trip simulation type feel happen when I'm seeing this thing and it's me, and in a music video, like for example, and I'm seeing myself rap the lyrics, and I'm seeing this. It kind of freaks me out a little bit. I don't know why. It just does. It's kind of like a Matrix thing for me, and I have a level of discomfort from that. I think it's a healthy discomfort because it keeps me out of the way and it keeps my ego in check. It keeps me from, it keeps me humble.
You're not a music video type artist.
Right. And another thing, I like the mystery of it. Because, you look back at like The Weeknd, those first couple years, nobody knew what his name was. Like, nobody knew what he looked like. Nobody knew if it was a dude, if it was a band. In fact, if you look back at Fantano, the Needle Drops review of those first records, like Melon, he literally thought that The Weeknd was a band. He was calling it a band because it was so new. Like, it just came out. Nobody knew what this thing looked like, what this thing was. They didn't know if it was a band, a white guy. They had no idea what this thing was. But it blew up, and it became massive, and now biggest artist in the world, most streamed artist in the world. 100.
People get mad at me when I say this, and attack me on Twitter all you want to. I'll take all you want, but
he's gonna say there. The Weeknd is sold out.
No, I think he's up there with like he's our generation's Michael Jackson.
Right.
And people are like, how can you take the light away from Michael Jackson? And it's like, well, Billboard Complex just put out a story that Ice Spice has more monthly listeners on Spotify than the Beatles.
Yeah.
I was like, well, most of the people who are into the Beatles heavy and remember, they're in their 60s now.
Yeah, they're not.
Things are gonna pass in an era.
Right. They're not necessarily even using Spotify. Like, they have the records on vinyl. And
even with us, soon, everybody will be gone and listening to the next thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting topic to be talked about with fame, because no matter if you are a Beatles caliber artist where you're at the top of the world, there's gonna come a time where you're going around asking random people, name 3 Beatles songs, and they can't name one. Yeah. I think it's different with Michael Jackson because he's still more recent, and he's the biggest artist of all time, I think. But
I think Michael Jackson was more of a household name.
Right. But I think with fame, it's like, even with MJ, there's going to be a generation coming up that might not be able to name anything but Thriller and Beat It or something, right?
Yeah.
They might not know about the Dirty Dianas and songs that were massive and on the charts.
Yeah.
And there's kids now that aren't aware of what Eminem was, best-selling artist of the 21st century, but yet there's kids that can tell you everything about YoungBoy that can't tell you anything about Eminem or Kanye or so fame is a really interesting thing. It goes, it comes and it goes, it fades. Sometimes you have different levels of fame, or you might be famous in certain times, and then
I still have Juggalo friends that hate Eminem.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is it, 2000?
There was a pretty big beef there. It's interesting because they all squashed that.
Yeah,
but
they're all in their 50s
the fans
now.
are still like trying to argue. You look at like Eazy-E's comments on his Dre diss when he dissed Death Row. I guess one of them, he had a couple, but you see people that are like dogging Dr. Dre, that like hate Dr. Dre, and I'm like, bro, they squashed this before Eazy-E died. Like they clicked back up. It was all just ego and business, and they were brothers. No matter what happened in the industry, they were brothers.
Yeah.
And they took care of everything. But some people just live in that time, and they just like the beef, I guess. And yeah, that Eminem and ICP thing's funny for those of you who aren't aware of that. There was some funny things that came out of that.
It's interesting for anyone who's into going back and watching like old stuff on YouTube. It's good to go back and refresh.
But that's another thing, bro. Who, like, and I say this in the most respectful way because I love Clown Posse, but who are you gonna go up to and say, name 3 ICP songs? From the new generation, I'm saying.
Yeah, you'd have to. They wouldn't. No, they
Right.
probably wouldn't like them. Or
But you think about.
you might find a few.
You think about a time where they were like packing stadiums, doing incredible sales of their records, especially Great Malenko. I think that was the one that sold the most.
97.
And that was, they were bigger than Eminem. Well, Eminem hadn't come out at that point, but there was a time where they were the thing, right? And you look at Detroit hip-hop, like they were Detroit hip-hop. And they had that for an era. And you look at artists now, like look at Lil Xan, like he was popping, bro. He had like the #1 hit on the charts for...
His fall off is super documented.
Right. 6ix9ine, like
scary.
there's so many artists that have like an era and then it kind of goes past that. I think you have to admire an artist like The Weeknd and Kendrick and Eminem who they can drop a record no matter how long it's been. I think with Eminem and Kanye, they probably done it better than anybody, but
the work ethic.
Right. They can drop a record and it sell 10 million records or 10 million copies in a year, and there's new artists coming up that can't do that.
I'm hoping Your Love Is a Drug sells 10 million copies.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I hope it becomes the greatest album sale.
We got some hot tubs to buy.
It needs to be like...
We're struggling out here.
It needs to be the mansion album. Like, if we're not sitting in a mansion in 6 months because of this project, then, we burn it.
Then we're just playing bingo.
Yeah.
We got one more song. We're here plugging the Love Is a Drug record. And then we'll wrap up a few things after we play this track. How would you... I know we did it, but we went off on a tangent. To the people who checked out and checked back in, what would you say about 1,000 Knives?
Dark, moody, experience. I don't know. And I want to acknowledge this too. We had a chorus on it originally, and I later on was like, you know what? Maybe we should just keep the guitar, because there was something about the silence in that chorus, and then whenever it, or in that I don't know, bridge, whatever you would call it, where the guitar has like a solo, and then it brings it back to the words, your love is sharper than 1,000 knives or whatever. So I think that even though it's changed, most of the album has changed 100 times since I started, but I think that it's a good change, and I don't know where I'm going with this, but it's a good song.
Awesome. Well, let's play it, and now we'll get back here, and we'll tell the people what's what. This is 1,000 Knives off of Your Love Is a Drug, the new Gavin Bryce album, which is out now.
Go listen.
Everybody go get it. We'll tell you where to get it after we play this, of course. Codename Cutthroat Podcast. I'm your master, SP, and we'll be back after this.
SP's Codename Cutthroat Podcast.
Leaders Radio.
Yes, you are here on Leaders Radio, SP's Codename Cutthroat Podcast. We're sitting here with Gavin Bryce, plugging your love is it your love is a drug or just love is a drug?
It's both.
Either way.
It's like Good Kid, Mad City. I guess most people would just call it either Good Kid or Mad City, but I don't know.
Or GKM.
Yeah, right. Like the people that have to
technically
make everything numbers or not numbers, letters.
I'm too lazy to say the word.
It's too complicated for me, bro. My cousin Brantley was like Iliad, and I'm like, I don't know. But people will call it whatever you want. Call it trash. Call it bad music. I don't know.
I call it an experience. And I do recommend everybody out there to go to Gavin Bryce Music on YouTube and listen for yourself. I wouldn't recommend this podcast being your first listen. I recommend listening to it without the jibber jabber in between.
Yeah.
So you get the full experience. And listen to it with some headphones. I love a good headphone album. I'll be on a flight and I'll listen to somebody's record or something and it'll just sound overmodulated MySpace quality, I like to call it.
Yeah, this is not a record you want to listen to when you're at the beach. Right?
I wonder what this thing would sound like on vinyl.
Dude, if I can find a way, again, I got to talk to Miles because there are things that I don't do. Like
that thing we talked about during the break too.
Yeah, with the CDs.
Yeah,
but if there's a way that I could get vinyls and have like the color, right? Have the damn thing dipped in green, a green vinyl, and you have "Love Is a Drug" printed on it.
Flat green.
Well, I
Billie
shouldn't
Eilish hair green.
Right, I shouldn't just say that because there's a lot of greens, but like a
neon
almost like
green.
like what's on the album, right?
Like that little target you guys see at the bottom of the screen.
That's a little Easter egg. That's a Red Bean Money Team Easter egg.
Yeah,
if you know, you know.
For those who know.
We used to have a little clique called Red Bean Money Team. Well, it was his, but I was rocking with it for a while.
It was all of ours. It was some fun times too. We got some. We put out that. I still think that Red Bean Volume 2 tape is one of our best work.
Yeah, we put a whole like collab album with basically with all of our work, and that was really cool.
Check that out too. That's out there somewhere.
It was just a little team. Like it was just like RTDE, right? And not business, just all love of music and
it was strong. There was like 7 of us too.
Right. I think the thing that
from 7 to 4 to 3 to 2.
It's an interesting conversation because I blamed myself when it started to fall apart. For those of you who don't know, Red Bean Money Team is like basically dead in the water, but I for whatever reason, I think it's just me blaming myself for everything that goes wrong on Earth. But I legit, I thought that I was the reason the ship was sinking.
There's a lot of horse shit going on behind the scenes.
Bro, there was some heads bumping too, because bro, we had a guy, T-Lo, who some of you probably know him, but T-Lo was in the clique, and like every time me and him would get around each other, we would bump heads, we would argue, or he would like just be so like
it's like 2 pit bulls of a different breed in the same room.
Like it was such a weird energy where he just did not like me at all, and like, oh bro, you ain't about this emo life. And I'm like,
it was like always a 1-up competition.
Yeah.
Like my dick's bigger than yours type situation.
But my thing, like hearing stuff like, oh, you ain't about this emo life. When did I say I was? Right?
It's okay, be about this.
It's like I know the life that you live and the thing that you're trying to protect. I promise you, I'm not trying to get inside your bubble. I'm doing my thing, right? This is my thing. So I was just, conversations like that. But even with Squally, the boy, we didn't like each other for a little while. And it's not that we didn't like each other. We just argued a lot and about different things, like the Bible was another thing. Like he'd be like, Lucifer's the morning star, and I'd be like, well, it tells me here on the last page of the Bible that Jesus Christ is the morning star, so respect my belief.
Well, you defeat the morning star in Saints Row 3.
Yeah, so, maybe the game developers know more than us. But
the thing with Red Beam was, and I like how since it dissipated, we've been more supportive towards each other as individual artists. I think that's what it was. Instead of worrying about how do we all fit all this talent into one bag.
Yeah, because we were all so different.
Because eventually somebody was going to branch out. I was expecting, it was going to happen, but
it was just a ship that kind of just sunk. And
we built a lot of good times.
Right, a lot of great memories. But
the only regrets I have is putting out that fucking Cocaine Love song with LSD.
Dude, that
group.
song was so dope, though. Listen, that
I'll
song
never do
was-
that live in concert either. Fuck you, Squally.
That was a good song, bro.
So we went through all the tracks on the new album, Love is a Drug, which is out now. Out of all, like, the overall, how hard emotionally was it for you to create this project?
Wow. I think specifically with songs like The End of Me, for example, it's hard for me to write something like that and record it and listen back to it without being hurt.
Yeah.
But again, it's like a good kind of hurt. It's like a release, but at the same time it hurts so much. Like,
I know how you feel. It's almost like a sense of, like, it's really fucking negative, but it's like you finally got it out and you're
Right.
listening to it from an outside perspective.
It's
Like,
so
it's real to you. It's real. It's pure.
It's so human too, and you know, I couldn't have any type of connection with it if this was an album about chains or you know, Nikes or something.
Or look at my new look at my new Hyundai outside.
Yeah, like no cars, no female. Well, there is females, but not in the light of strippers or anything like that. You know.
Do you plan on doing any of these songs in like a tour setting? Do you plan on touring this record?
Yep. I don't know if I can announce this or not.
You don't have to.
But, well, I want to, because I think if I get chewed out for it, I get chewed out for it, but I don't think I will. But when Miles comes back to Illinois, you will see Gavin Bryce on that stage, and you will see me performing songs off Love is a Drug, if not all of them, like half of them, and then I'll throw in some old songs. But that is the current plan, and I think it's exciting because those songs are so different than anything I've performed before. Like, the songs that I performed, you're talking about No Lies, No Hook, First Day Out, Pain. Like, those songs are rap songs, brother.
Yeah.
So it's so different to go out there and you know, yell in a microphone and jump around and have people yell with you, as opposed to getting out there with like a guitar that you don't even know how to play and like trying to strum it. This is a vision I have in my head. A lot of the chords on the album are pretty simple. I would like to get out there, just be sitting in a chair in the dark. Obviously
we got some over here. We get out the air, strum along.
Exactly, man. Strum along. Close the door, open Pornhub, and strum. No. But just this idea of sitting in the dark, not pitch black, but having this moment where I got the guitar and I'm strumming simple chords, nothing crazy, but I have the mic in front of me like now, and I'm just out there and just singing to the people. Right. I think it's going to be so intimate in a way, because it's not going to be like everybody's yelling or I'm yelling.
Yeah.
It's going to be get lost in this thing, no distraction, nothing, just get lost in this thing. This is what's happening.
It's like focus.
And you got to imagine, like, you talk about this record as being like a headphone album. Imagine being in the dark and the sky's just in front of you, and it's dark in this room and there's just light on this guy, and he's just sitting there, and he's just like,
fucking thing sucks.
You gotta think about this, right?
Yeah.
The album's gonna be way louder, so the vibe, like, is gonna be so different. You're gonna feel every ounce of it in your chest, I think. And that's the plan right now. I might change it around, because I still want to have some rap songs whenever I get back out there and perform, but at least for that particular set with Love is a Drug, I think it's important for me to just have that intimate setting and just, I don't know.
Maybe there's a way to blend both. Yeah.
I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about what I can do.
All right, the top dollar question here.
Yeah.
Favorite wrestler?
That's the hardest question I've ever been asked. Man, give me Rey Mysterio, because I remember when I was a little kid, I had a Rey Mysterio mask, and I'd walk around with that thing like I was normal.
I had one too, but I bought it from a Juggalo wrestling event.
Oh man,
but I wore it the whole event.
Bro, them Juggalo events, you got people like getting hit with like beer cans and stuff. It's just
I like
weird.
those better than the WWE
right.
events.
It's just such a different aggression. Like
I don't know if they still
WWE
do
is
them.
more kind of organized, and them Juggalo events are just kind of, hey, listen, if you want to hit me with a trash can and then fart on me, go
Here's
ahead.
this barbed wire bat. Like, fucking, like, come on.
Right. The only time we ever saw that in WWE was when it was WWF, because you had guys like Mick Foley and The Undertaker doing stuff like that. But
Then you had the guy, who was it? It was Too Tough Tony. Had the flaming fist. He'd pour the Bacardi on his fist and light it on fire.
yeah, see, you don't get that stuff in world wrestling entertainment, bro.
He'd be like, you
just
gonna
don't.
get the flaming fist, you fucking eye.
There's a lot of cool stuff going on. Like, there's a lot of supernatural stuff going on. This guy I really like, Bray Wyatt, who's like, has this entity called Uncle Howdy, and he's like a ghost, and he comes out and he's like just dropping fools and like just fire coming up out of the room. Just cool stuff, you know. It's just about a presentation, you know. Obviously everybody who's a pro wrestling fan knows pro wrestling ain't real, but that's the beauty of it. You get this performance and you get to get lost in something. It's the same thing with, you know, guys like Slipknot coming out there with the masks and doing all these crazy things, and, you know, guys putting on these presentations. I don't know. It's just so cool.
Yeah. What fans do you think are less tolerable? UFC fans or WWE fans?
I think UFC fans, because they think that
It's just some jarhead shit going on.
Right.
I think Dana White's an abusing a woman abusing asshole. That's beside the point.
Well, another thing is, like, if you look at the pay of UFC, right? Go ahead and Google that. Google if not literally right now, Skyler.
I'm not. I was checking something else.
But for anybody, like, if you look up, is UFC pay good? You're not gonna find a very good answer there. Those
They
guys
get screwed.
Those guys are being murdered, and they're getting like $15,000 for it. And then you look at WWE, which, granted, it's $1 billion company, but their guys are making $5 million a year.
Yeah.
And they're safe, so they're making that money, and the injuries don't happen that often. And when they do, they're unintentional. Like Big E broke his neck last year on SmackDown. That was weird to watch, but it's never intentional. You're not trying to kill somebody, but you're making, you know, $5 to $10 million a year, and you're being treated fairly.
Yeah.
And you're not like trying to murder somebody. And I think that there is a conversation to be said about that. Ronda Rousey also talked about it. Like, she was talking about whenever she was in the UFC, she wasn't getting paid worth crap.
Yeah.
And she was getting out there and destroying her body to get paid $15,000 or whatever. And now she's in WWE and making millions without even having to break a nose or like hurt herself, and still be able to, you know, put on a really cool show and do.
And all of that's pretty much organized and set up. All the matches are planned out, unless somebody really wants to screw you over.
Right. Well, there is something in wrestling called a receipt, where if you go off script, the person, this is a legit rule in wrestling. If someone goes off script, you can give them a receipt. And I think a good example of that, if anybody has the time ever, look up Braun Strowman knees Brock Lesnar or something. Like, that guy hit Brock Lesnar or kneed him so hard, and then he about got knocked out. And Braun Strowman's like a 10-foot tall dude. He's like way bigger than Lesnar, which is saying a lot. And he got dropped. So that's always fun to see, you know, because you know when someone's getting a receipt and when something is just entertainment. You know when it's the product and when it's getting a little too real. But
a little too out there.
I love wrestling. I love the performance aspect of it.
What's your favorite video game at the moment?
Honestly, bro, I've been playing a lot of Battlefront 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Nice.
And I got the original Xbox One on my Xbox One. It's interesting that I just said that.
I need you to show me how to do that stupid backwards compatible horse
Definitely,
shit, 'cause
bro.
I have no idea.
I'll help you out. We got the same console, for those who don't know, so that makes us cool.
We're out there.
But, I got the original and I got the remastered, which is just a remake. It's not a remaster. It's called Battlefront 2, but they're two different Star Wars games, two different stories, everything. But I've been playing the original a lot and getting lost in that, and just slicing fools in half. It's kind of fun.
Video games are a good pastime. Video games, it's like either a good nut or a good video game dwindles it makes me not want to kill people.
Yeah, exactly. And hey, the best thing with games is most of the time, no matter what game you're playing, most of the time you are killing people. That's like the basis of like 90% of games. So, you know, it's a way to do that.
This is episode 3 of the Codename Cutthroat podcast. We were sitting here with Gavin Bryce on this episode. we're plugging the record Your Love Is a Drug, which is out now on YouTube. Went and played through all the songs. This will be up for replay. If anybody wants to clip, you can clip anything from here. Full permission. We will not sue you. Leaders Radio is a non-lawsuit company, as you can tell.
Yeah.
From the amount of shit we get away with throughout the years.
As long as you don't take the music, buddy, you're good.
Yeah. We're not giving any ideas.
Skyler can do that, but, that's because we're on Leaders Radio. You feel me?
Here with Gavin Bryce. You have any shout-outs or last things you want to tell the people?
I do have a couple things. The first thing, I want to acknowledge the deluxe edition of Love Is a Drug, Iliad, whatever. And I want to acknowledge that it might not come out, so don't quote me on this, but I do have the plan of releasing a deluxe with like 6 more songs. Awesome. Basically the same as what we have.
Sweet.
And believe in the Lord Jesus Christ and you will be saved. And have a great day. I love you all. And thank you for tuning in.
Awesome. Like I said, this was episode 3 of the Codename Cutthroat podcast. This thing looks so dark when I'm full screened. Just to get some things out of the way, if it'll load up. Like we said, Love Is a Drug is out now. Go get it. The Flight Risk debut album is still available on CD and streaming services. Shows are starting back in May, and we're doing a battle of the bands in June. It should be pretty fun, and hopefully we'll win that. Tonight, after you guys watch this, go to the Red Room in Sauget. If you're in the Sauget, Illinois area tonight, the Frost Money presents the Lotta Dat event with headliner Woski Woe is at the Oz nightclub in the Red Room. I'm sure if somebody have tickets. I don't think they have you can't get tickets at the front door at that club. I'm not sure. They were never able to for my shows.
You just got to rob somebody. That's all you got to do.
But our friends Ace 23 and Donnie Tsunami will be in the house, so definitely go check them out. And you can find me there April 20th. But to get things out the way, my mixtape, Computer, is coming out late this month to all streaming platforms. We have a special merch line that we're planning that's on the way, and a web store. I'm trying to get designed with a web store, get more inclined with the computer work of all that. And the Zenith era is still among us. Possible CDs coming as well. We're going to try to get some paperbacks printed. New music from Squally 2 Times is on the way. He just wrapped up a show in Denver, Colorado. He'll be joining us on this program next week. Jeso has a few music videos coming out. One with Cuddy Mula and Big Bang Ducko, and that one's really fucking cool. I've seen the full thing, and it's really nice. We're planning to shoot more because I got some ideas for him. I want to shoot his way. And he's got his clothing line idea that is on the way. Like I said, Squally will be with us next week. I jumped around. You ever jump around from something you're trying to read? If it's all... I hate live reads. I think that's about it. Yeah. Podcast will return next week with Squally 2 Times. Love Is a Drug out now. Follow Leaders Radio on Instagram at Leaders_radio for posts about the hottest underground art and new music from our members and friends. And yeah, man. You guys can find me April 20th at the Oz nightclub in Sauget, Illinois for the Nothing But Smoke event. Hosted by Hazy P. That's also a Frost Money event. And tickets will be available soon. And I'm also doing Midwest Death Fest with my friend Worm out there in Indiana at Carl's Tavern, this club.
The Worm I'm thinking of.
I hear it's awesome. No, but I got a funny story about him.
Let's talk about it.
Off the air. He, well, nobody knows who we're talking about, so I guess we could say it. He works at Subway now, and I didn't know that.
Jeremy?
Yeah, and...
For those who don't know, Jeremy was the drummer for my dad's band, so it's kind of a cool thing.
Yes, that Oblivion record is also on your channel as well, if you want to plug that one.
Yeah, that's my dad's music. That'll live forever, and you can listen to it, and you'll see like a lot of Love Is a Drug was even inspired by that because it has that grunge sound, but I think it's a more authentic grunge. I think mine was just more like experimental and kind of electronic.
Kind of, yeah. It's a blend of both.
But that album, it's called This and That. They do like 2 covers on it, and then they got like 5 or 6 originals, which you'll know the covers because it says bonus in the titles. But just check that out. It's good grunge music. It's really dope music ahead of its time. I think they recorded that like 99, 2000, and 2001. They were doing that, and the music holds up. It sounds amazing. They got on TAO for it.
Oh, yeah.
And that music will live forever. And
It's one of my local favorites for sure.
Yeah, and I know my father, you know, he's looking down and he's proud of everything that I got going on, and
Most definitely.
It's just so cool because what do you say?
Most definitely, yeah.
Right. It's just so cool, you know. He grew up. He was a country boy, but he was a rocker. You know, he loved, you know, Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam, everything, bro. Like metal. He even loved rap. But the thing with him was he got into this music thing, and he was like doing incredible things. He was doing shows. He performed, you know, everywhere you could think of, and he was on the radio and stuff. And I just hope that I can be a vessel for people to find that music, and hopefully that music lives on forever.
Right.
And that's why it's on my channel, you know, because I'm not just doing this music thing just because like I like music. Like there is a root in this, there's a seed in this. Skylar can say the same because his pops, you know, he like there's something about being the son of an artist where it's almost like inevitable that you're gonna be an artist as well.
Yeah, live in the footsteps type thing.
Right. And just carrying on the legacy, you know, my father might not be here physically, but as long as I'm here and as long as the music's here, that man's here.
Oh yeah. Awesome. Well, yeah, man, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. We love you all out there. We'll give you guys more music and more content to tweak your hard nipples to in the shower.
Don't forget to check out my weird album, Love is a Drug.
Out now.
From a weird person. Yeah.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.
You have just witnessed another episode of SP's Codename Cutthroat Podcast. I hope you enjoyed this clusterfuck more than I did. The show is over for today, but we will see you again next week. For clips and other highlights, subscribe to the SPCNCT YouTube channel, as well as Leaders Radio. This is us here from the show saying goodbye, and
fuck y'all, suck my dick, and lick your ass.
Leaders Radio.